Welcome to another episode of the Piano Ninja Tricks podcast. Hi, I'm Lisa Specter, your piano ninja, helping you become a piano ninja where everything becomes easier for you at the piano. I am back in my ninja costume. If you were here last week, I wasn't. I am recovering from a right shoulder fracture, my humerus, and it's challenging to change clothes. So I'm getting a little better at it this week. So I thought I would get back into my clothes. But speaking of which, that Godowsky is challenging enough, but playing it with my glove makes it even harder. So I'm going to make it easier by taking this off. We have some exciting things coming up for you in February, and I look forward to announcing that next week. In the meantime, if you want access to my best free piano ninja tricks in email delivered to your inbox, go to pianoninjatricks.com, where I start with fingering because it's really important to choose efficient, easy fingering to travel lighter and easier at the piano. Today I'm going to be talking about how to turn notes into music. It's something I've been focusing on a lot as I'm learning two very challenging Godowsky works for left hand only, both his transcription of the Chopin Aeolian Harp Etude, and I'm working on the Strauss transcription of the Symphonic Metamorphosis. They're both bears. They're both really challenging. And in different ways. The symphonic metamorphosis has enormous jumps. Like every eighth note, you're jumping 3 to 5 octaves. So it's really easy to get lost in the technical aspect of it, of all the notes, but how do you turn that into music? So here's one of the easiest ways to do that, kind of right from the start. So when you're working on something challenging, you can always break it down into separate voices, separate hands. With one hand only, it's always separate voices. So I'm going to take this section of the Symphonic Metamorphosis it's really beautiful, but it's got a lot of jumps, a lot of notes. And I'm just going to start with playing just the melody. There's two ways to play just the melody. So normally our melodies oftentimes in the outer part of our right hand, but in this case, in left hand music, it's very frequently in the thumb of the left hand. Not always though. So if I were to just play thumbs with a melody, it's awkward, right? It's trying to play legato, and your thumb is a little clunky. So what I'm going to do first, I'm not going to do this too many times. I'm going to do it once or twice at the most. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to play the melody, but not with the fingering I would do as if I were playing everything. But I'm going to play the melody with my ideal fingering, with my fingering that if I didn't have any other notes, I just could play legato and shape the phrases. This is the finger I would do. And that helps form the musical line in my ear, which is one of the first things I want to do before I get lost in all the technical challenges. Sorry, natural. So it's really simple. It's just 2-note phrases. It's not much. Now, I'm going to probably do that one other time off camera, but now I'm going to play it with the fingering I would be playing it with if I were playing all the notes. So the awkward thumb fingering mostly. Just the top line. So I can't connect that when I'm doing all these chords underneath it. You'll hear in a second. So I'm going to do thumbs. But I'm going to model the sound I just created with more legato fingering. So how am I making that sound legato when it's not? I'm jumping like a 6 with thumb. I'm shaping the phrases. I'm having more sound in the upper note and less in the lower because I'm emulating what I had done in the more legato fingering. Now I'm going to add another voice. So this still goes along with this concept I always have on my piano. I invite you to have this note in your piano. How can I make this easier? I've talked about the basic ways, which is slow it down, hands separately, in this case voices separately, and small sections of repetition, but this is like the next layer of that. The next level of that is planting in the melody in your ear with ideal fingering, then modeling that, changing to the fingering that you would have to play if you had other notes, and gradually add the other voices or other hands. So it could be if you have two hands and four voices, you could add two voices and then three and then four. So now I'm going to just add one other voice. So I'm going to add the third below that. Sometimes larger than a third. So that felt pretty good. I'm going to reword that. I think it sounded pretty good in terms of the sound I want, but it didn't feel so comfortable. So I'm going to do it one more time to get it feeling a little more comfortable. So I'm going to take that much and I'm going to do the whole voice, all the notes in the left hand, but at a slower tempo. I'm going to add to that, which is playing it in chunked chords. I thought I knew it well enough. I didn't need to do that, but it's okay. I just need to review it one time with that. So in last week's episode, I talked about how to chunk chords, how to play groups of notes so that your hand and eye is your eye is grabbing all the notes at once and makes it easier when you're playing one note at a time. So I can do that one more time. And I'm combining that with quick reflex motion, which I talked way back, I think episode 3, where I'm moving quickly, even though the tempo is very slow. I'm moving as soon as I get to a chord, I'm moving to the next chord. So my hand just knows where to go. So now I'm going to do it under tempo as written. So it's challenging and there's a lot of jumps, but because I planted in my ear first with a melody line, I think it's really helping me shape the phrase, because if I didn't, it would sound something, don't do it like this, it would sound something like this. It's hard for me to play that way because everything is kind of equal. Can't really shape the line, don't hear the melody so much. So now I'm going to go back to remembering how I plant it in my ear and play it slightly, just slightly, a little bit faster. I felt like that was too fast, so I'm going to slow it down a little bit. I feel like I could go a tiny bit faster, but not too much. Do it one more time at the same tempo. So that felt pretty musical. I was shaping the line as I wanted to, and it felt pretty comfortable. So I'm going to leave it at that. You can apply that to, it doesn't have to be one-hand music. You can apply that to anything you're working on, of shaping it by just playing the melody. First, I did that. I was helping a student learn how to start working on the Brahms Opus 118 number 2, the beautiful A major intermezzo, and I did the same thing of play the melody voice by itself with the ideal fingering. Brahms is so complex. There's so many voices. It's so rich. Do one voice at a time and then gradually add from there so that you're always planting it in your ear. It's so important of how you want it to sound when it's not complex, when you don't have all the notes, when you don't have all the jumps, when you don't have all the technical things you're paying attention to. So that when you add all those technical things, your focus is still on the musicality, because your goal is to always be making music, even when it's Godowsky and it's for one hand. There's going to be a lot more Godowsky for one hand coming up, because these two major pieces, his transcription of the Aeolian Harp Etude and the Godowsky symphonic metamorphosis of Strauss transcription, I'm going to be playing those in February, by the end of February, in full. So lots of that to come. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. And I know there's a million ways you can be spending your time. And I so appreciate any comments you leave, anything. I'd love to hear about whatever piano ninja trick you learned that you can be applying to your own music. Let me know in the comment below. Thanks so much for listening. I'm Lisa Specter, your piano ninja.